Hello, family. Welcome back to Ya Royal Princess video. We are in this time of wanting to understand more about Jacob's trouble in the tribulation, lining it up with the Bible, and so many videos have been done about it. So, believing and trusting and praying that through it all, that of course we want to pray for mercy and just get to a place where we can understand what this is all about, right? So many scriptures that indicates, in reference to Jeremiah 30 of tribulations and also Jacob's trouble. So as I started, of course, reading the Bible, it's like almost like 2 years now. When I got to the New Testament, I became at a standstill because it was so much different from the Old Testament. And I, prayed and asked the Almighty for understanding to whereas it would be more logical. How would I connect with it, even in this day and time? So I truly believe the Almighty have opened pathways and doors and lined me up with right people and lead me and guide me through it all. So over the time, I want to say the years, I've had dreams that line up with Jacob's trouble after I'm understanding more about it. But of course, we want more clarity, we want more understanding. So there's a verse also that speaks of that the Almighty will actually, once you open your mouth, He will speak for you, through you, to those who may have tried to deliver you up or try to do harm to you. So I would just want to tell about actual testimony first about this, is that when He spoke through me, I was working for this company that He directed me to. He actually told me to call. I had supposed to start the job 4 months to 5 months later, but He had me to call early. And when I called, the human resource person picked up, which wasn't the norm. And He made a decision for me to start that next week, which was in the first class. So, and that was by me saying a name, which the human resource person knew, and I did not know that he knew this person. And so that was the way how He just made a decision out of the clear blue to get me in the first class. But it was also, at the end of the day, point blank period, the Almighty put me in that lineup because He led me to contact Him. So I went to work there, and I got elevated to all the way up to a supervisor. And I was a supervisor for probably about a year and a half or so. And I found out that they were letting 3 people go. And one of them was already outside the door in the parking lot. And she, as she was talking to me, my upper management came through and said, can you go with me? And so I just said, well, do I need to take my purse? And she said, yes. And I immediately knew that I was going to be one of the ones going to be let go. So I've always been mild-mannered and very professional in my settings. And through it all, I, like I said, the Almighty led me there. So when we got into this room, there was a human resource person that was there, but wasn't the one that actually made a decision for me early on. It was someone under him, and then my upper management. And they went to the other side of the desk. One was sitting, I believe, and one was probably stooping, standing. Not stooping, I'm sorry, either, sitting back on the back wall desk or something. And so I sat down in front of them, and immediately when they said what they said, and then my mouth opened, and that's when the Almighty spoke through me. To this day, I can't tell you what was said. I I can't tell you, because as soon as I started speaking, they started scrambling for, like, looking for stuff to write down what was being said. So all I got from it was that there were some things going on behind the scenes that I could not see, that the Almighty did not allow me to see. He only had my presence there for a purpose and a reason. And this now was going to come to a point where it was time for them to do whatever they were going to do. And they literally fired me and said it was an at-will state. So when I got home, anyway, I contacted my guy friend who was a lawyer, and he said, well, it's an at-will state, you just want to let it go. And I said, nah, I don't feel as though I should. So when I got home, the Almighty led me to open up this pamphlet with the number of the business. And I called, and that was odd because a lawyer answered the phone, and on the first ring, and that's not known because they have levels before you get to a lawyer. And so he added 2 other people on this conference call, and they actually, one of them said, they did what? And right then I knew that they did something they're supposed to do. And I knew if I was going to sue them, whatnot, I was going to win. So anyway, my lawyer got involved, and we were talking back and forth with them. And 2 months of that, I was at home, wasn't working anywhere, but the Almighty was leading me to get business suits and things like that. And so I was shopping and getting business suits. And so shortly after, around 2 months, my lawyer contacted me and said they want to bring you back. And so I was like, wow. So I went back, and when I got back, I actually entered the main human resource person who made a decision early on, 2.5 years earlier, for me to start that week. And when I went into his room, he just, hi, how are you doing? And he said, well, let me show you to your office. So he took me to an office. Now, I was a manager on the floor with a team of 30. So now I'm actually in my office on corporate hallway where all the big shakers, the big rollers, at. So now I'm coming to try to understand, okay, that's why the Almighty was leading me to get my suits, okay? So I went into this office space with 2 other people who would come in from time to time, but mainly it was me. And he said, well, someone will be back to show you, what to do, and that, look for them to come. And family, no one came for 4 whole months. And I wasn't led to go say anything, and they never came to me. When they would speak to me, they would speak for me from afar, and kept it moving. And this is top notch, the top elites, of the company in that regard. So there wasn't even a time where the president flew in to take, pictures to meet me and another person who was a rep at the time. And she was a manager, and she was the one that contacted me from the parking lot and said, oh, I was just let go. And just to give you a little bit more background, that we were top 3 managers, and they let go the top 3 managers. So figure, ponder on that. So anyway, so I'm back in the building. I have an office space and no assignment, no title, just making up things to do to keep busy and whatnot. So going into the 4th month, the end of the 4th month, the Almighty led me to call Bell South, and I didn't want to. And I didn't say I didn't want to, but I just felt I didn't want to. And the Almighty know you well, so I didn't want to, because I didn't want to go through the studying again to get back into a type of job that I'm currently was in for that 6 or 7 weeks. And if you didn't pass, and you could easily get let go. And so he led me to call, and it got really strong on me as far as in my spiritual room, that he would just call. So I called, and I did it to appease him. And I remember being on the phone and being like this with them, like, like that. I wouldn't dare try that now, family. I know better, right? But it's mercy, right? So, then that was the end of the conversation. So about some days later, they came in, the same one that had hired me and told me to come in a little earlier, months earlier. He came and said, well, we're about to fizzle out your job, which was the Almighty already just had everything lined up. And I was like, okay. And I couldn't fight it because I didn't have a title and I didn't have a job. I was just on corporate hallway, going into on the corporate hallway, and every day. So it went from there to I left, and they gave me a servant's packet, and which insurance and money for I believe it was 6 months. So then I I went back to a temp agency, and I worked there, and they led me to this job where I would, show high-end apartments, and I did that. And I was there for about 3 months, and the day they came on a Thursday and told me that we want to hire you full-time permanently, and they didn't leave it for me to answer. They just okay, she'll be back tomorrow, we'll finish discuss it. Well, that evening when I got home, the anointing came so strong upon me, and that's when Father told me to go to Bell South. What he told me for months, told me to call, now he's telling me go to Bell South, and it was a sternness. So I didn't question it. I just, that next morning, which was that Friday, I didn't even go back to my other job. I went to Bell South, and I applied, and I got the job. And I've been there for almost 17 years, okay? And so he used me there for many, many years. In the last 8 years, he literally would, slay me in the spirit, give me prophetic words to give to ones that, were there, and the laying of hands. The first person was that he gave me a prophetic word was to the director of the whole entire call center. And it was a 1,000-seat call center, okay? I remember when I first arrived there, was back in the late 1990s. He told me that, 2001, I'm sorry. He told me that I would, he is, each seat in this building is a gift from him, and that I need to treat everyone as though he would. And I got that and received that, and I did that. And then, like I said, 8 years, at the mark of around 8 years, when I went back to a seat that I was sitting in when I first got there, which was like a full circle of my life. I said, it's about time. The Almighty's about to move me somewhere else. And that's what my whole life has been, just moving to different jobs, and he will use me. And that's what I mean. If someone read my bio or about me, I've always just been used basically on my job. Ministry was my job, where he would give me prophetic words, and he would use me accordingly in that lineup. So I'm gonna have to come back on and do a part 2 because this is lengthy, but I just wanted to let you all know that when Father say that, he will speak, you just open your mouth. That is, I'm a witness. And that's what, when we speak of Jacob's trouble, when, so much going to be happening, we will need to understand that he will be there, and he will guide us and lead us. So family, I'm going to close out from this segment 1 or part 1, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks again for tuning in to Yah Royal Princess of Yah, and Yah Royal family. I will see you soon. Welcome back to Yah Royal family video log of Princess of Yah. I just wanted to come back on with part 2 to the video that I just shared, talking a little bit about dreams, a little bit that, and I'm speaking literally little bit of what I can recall from it. One where I saw myself and a lot of the so-called blacks in this, behind a cage. When I say cage, it's like you. So family, it was actually cages, like you would see at the border of Mexico and the United States, where those ones that came from, Mexico or El Salvador or Honduras. So we were all behind that, but I had free range to walk around and pray for people. I literally saw myself putting hands on people's foreheads and praying for them. And then that pretty much, that's all I remember from that particular dream. Then there was another time I had a dream where I was lifted by 4 men, 2 at my feet and 2 at my arms, which one was holding one arm, the other arm, one leg, the other leg. and I was being carried somewhere, and I was alive, and so that's all I saw of that dream. Anything else, Father, you want me to share? I'm trying to think of anything else in regards of that lines up with when you think about tribulations and Jacob's trouble. I think that's it, family. So those are two things that I, could recall at this time, and I will come back on as the Almighty lead and guide me. But Jeremiah 30, it speaks of this. I'm going to bring it up and I'm going to read it out loud. I was just looking over some areas of which we know to be Jacob's trouble. And Jacob's trouble is, it speaks here in Jeremiah 30:7. It says here that at last, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. And when we go a little closer and look at the word at last in Hebrew, it's actually under H195 when it comes to the concordance. And it speaks of ha, ho, like woe. And those are